Yo, right here in the small box. But yeah, with this video right here, we're gonna piggyback off of the Chick Smooth video that we just watched, with La Russell apologizing to Lil Wayne. Me personally, you shouldn't have done it. You didn't need to, because you're apologizing to a bunch of crybabies on Twitter, and I'm sick of these Twitter people. I'm sick of Twitter in general. But it's cool though. We got Read My Soul in front of us. We got about like a 20-minute video. Did Lil Wayne hurt hip hop? Let's go ahead and dive in. But before we do, yo, you, right here in the small box, welcome back to Flex Mob Reactions, only on the Flex Mob Network. I'm Flex. Welcome back to the channel. Shout out to the Flex Mob. Shout out to the Shadow Mob. I appreciate y'all equally. Y'all are tapped in with your favorite Canadian reaction channel and network. All right, let's go ahead and lock in with this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the vibe. Let's go.
Just went viral and sparked a conversation that I felt as though I wanted to bring to my audience here. La Russell said that when he was younger, he was a big Lil Wayne fan, and as he got older and as he matured, he realized that Wayne wasn't really talking about nothing, and that maybe Wayne's impact on the culture was a little negative.
I had a moment in my journey where I had grew a disdain for Wayne just because I started listening to everything. Like, I started maturing as a human, and I'm like, damn, this nigga wasn't talking about nothing. As someone who, like, grew up in these communities, right, and grew up with homies who I seen want to be Bloods because they following Wayne and want to be gangster and want to shoot all the gun bar and shit. Right. Like, I've seen the negative that he contributed to the community, and I had to look like, man, what are the songs where he really talked about something and gave? And out of a 1,000-song catalog, you know, it's minute on this end.
It's like Georgia Bush.
And that do bother me. Tie My Hands.
That's what I was gonna say, Tie My Hands.
That's the question I lay out to you. Did Lil Wayne ruin hip hop a little bit? And so let's break this down. Lil Wayne is one of those topics that's kind of hard because at the end,
it's not about like half human. There you go. It's not really about did he ruin it? I like the word hurt better, but to say ruin, that's drastic. It's not ruining with what he did. In that era, a lot of the subject matter was around the same ish. It's club, bottles, girls, money, little drugs. Like, we can all agree to that, right? So, like, the messaging is what we're getting. Is what's hurting hip-hop, right? Because once upon a time, hip-hop used to be balanced. You had all sides. It wasn't just the conscious and the turn-up and club joints. You had other sides to hip-hop that was all getting plays. Everybody was getting spun. But you got to remember, the marketing companies didn't like that because there's no money when everybody wins. There's not a lot of money in that. When everybody's winning, there's not much money. But when you start to divide and conquer and put everything up against each other, all of a sudden, your funds start to multiply drastically. Marketing is there to push ideas. Marketing is there to push concepts. Marketing is there to push to the consumer to say, you should like this. And they took the vices that came with hip-hop and said, we accept it. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and push this side of your hip-hop. Which is why a lot of things started to fall under the same house with all the vices. So you got to be mindful with this conversation. It's an easy one to follow. It's an easy one to understand. You got to be careful with the variables because you're going to start to confuse yourself.
End of the day, Wayne is a legend, and nobody can say anything otherwise. His run from about what, Carter 2 to about the Carter 4 was extremely legendary. Now the funny thing is,
Carter 2 is the best Lil Wayne project, period. The Drought 3 is his best mixtape, period.
Some of my favorite Lil Wayne is actually the beginning of that run, Carter 2, and then the end of that run, which some could say was the Carter 5. I'm a big Carter 5 fan. I feel as though if you're looking for something a little bit more in depth, the Carter 5 is actually where Wayne was going really deep. Songs like Let It All Work Out is where he really expressed himself. The question that I'm asking you is everybody getting face tats a positive thing? You know, when you talk about Lil Wayne, a lot of the times it's about drugs. It's about gangbanging. It's about face tattoos.
What do you mean YouTube is not working right now? That's weird.
It's never really about the music. And I personally know Lil Wayne has influenced some of your favorite rappers like Kendrick Lamar, who said that, right? Like Lil Wayne is a rapper at the end of the day. And I think that people kind of looked at the marketing of it. It's like Tupac, right? When you talk to certain different people about Tupac, they never really talk about like Brenda's Got a Baby. It's like they get to Brenda's Got a Baby later, but they never really get to Brenda's Got a Baby. They probably talk about Hit 'Em Up first. They probably talk about the beef, maybe shooting 2 police officers. There's so much about Tupac that what he was actually really good at kind of misses it, right? We kind of get to that later. Like, oh yeah, he was a really good lyricist, he was a good songwriter. Like, yeah, he was a poet, you know, and then we get to that. But
what's good, Shanice? How you doing? What's going on with YouTube?
But at first, there's so much in Lil Wayne. I feel like that's the same with Lil Wayne because there's so much else surrounding Lil Wayne. To have a music conversation about Lil Wayne is a wee bit difficult. So my question is, did Wayne's impact influence hip-hop positively or was it a negative? I think people were kind of like getting at Lil Russell because they think that Lil Wayne has talked about a lot of substance throughout his life. And there are songs like Tie My Hands.
My whole city underwater, some people still floating.
Where Wayne goes really, really deep and goes really depth. My favorite is Georgia Bush.
So what happened to the levees? Why wasn't they steady? Why wasn't they able to control this?
That's when I really became political, and that's when I really wanted to hear politics in my music, because that's when I started studying politics and I started seeing, you know, after Hurricane Katrina.
You know what it is? I just cracked it. You know what it is? Bro, even if the songs are there, I hope y'all following me. Even if the songs are there, what a lot of people are not understanding is that character matters. Your actions matter. When you run around saying you don't care, screw this, screw that, and then you got little temper tantrums on stage and you doing this and that don't really fall into the songs that we should be listening to, now we question you. Lil Russell is right for what he said. He is right for him to speak that way. Because going back through the history, Lil Wayne's actions and how he talks in interviews, it makes a lot of us question how he is as a character. So even if the songs are there, your actions speak louder than the words. Sorry.
After 9/11, I started to really see, you know, during the Bush administration, what politics is and what it's about and how the signing of these certain bills and these certain things can really affect the country, can affect people for years to come. And so at that time, when Eminem did Mosh, you hear a lot of political talk in Kanye's music, and you heard a lot of political talk in starting to develop in Jay-Z's music, Dead Prez, Nas. Like, you start hearing these things and you're like, hold on, I want my rappers to throw some of them gems in there. You start really understanding about the build to destroy, a lot of 5% of talk that was really in hip hop in its early days. And you really start to understand, like, yo, when you get this microphone and you get this amplifier, you got to really say something. And so when George Bush came out, it was like, oh, Wayne actually says something, right? And he's talking about the levees. I think at that time you couldn't avoid it.
They telling y'all lies on the news, the white people smiling like everything cool, but I know people that died in that pool.
Let's keep it real. That's the exception, not the rule.
If I hug you once, but I slap the shit out you 1,000 times, you know, your affinity for me is gone. You're probably going to remember me for this.
Lil Wayne's career is mostly about pussy, money, weed. He's not really talking about nothing. A lot of his bars and a lot of his music is purposeless. This conversation is kind of getting out of hand because people trying to defend Wayne, because the Wayne people are like some of the most craziest fans. I don't think people talk about that a lot. Wayne fans are locked in. Then they're going to defend Buddy. Even though the Car 6 was boo-boo, they're going to still...
I literally just talked about that on the Chick Smooth video. I'm gonna upload both of these for sure. I'm probably going to upload both of these for tomorrow, but yeah.
the Fem Buddy, especially that run that he had, because I think that a lot of arguments just boil down to the South versus the North versus the West. I honestly really think that most of these arguments boil down to region wars, and it's hard and difficult for people to say, yeah, I'm biased because of my region, because that sounds crazy. I feel like because the South really, like, it was official, the South is on top, one of the best rappers alive is Lil Wayne, there's nothing nobody could tell nobody, right? And so I feel as though it's kind of hard to get to the truth about Lil Wayne, because Wayne was such a good rapper, but he was never really the best, let's say, song maker. Most of the time he's not rapping about nothing.
What you want me to talk about? The world? Like, come on, man. The world.
What did I just say?
Craig, you know, I ain't no goddamn professor.
He's rap.
What did I just say?
Let's say song maker. Most of the time he's not rapping about nothing.
What you want me to talk about? The world? Like, come on, man. The world, Craig, you know, I ain't no goddamn professor.
He's rapping the rap, right? And I think that kind of started to show itself later in his career, even though that's funny. That's when I really started rocking with him. I ain't gonna lie. You know, Wayne has done rock albums. Wayne has done How to Love. Wayne has done a lot of different versatile things. They weren't really talking about nothing, so to speak. So my view on Wayne, the things that he's done positively to affect rappers, a lot of people can't articulate it. Like, fact, Lil Wayne has influenced Kendrick Lamar, one of the greatest rappers out.
Moving slow-mo, probably look nice on low pro Yokohamas with 20-inch chrome poking on them.
For a fact, Lil Wayne has influenced J. Cole, one of the greatest rappers out. For a fact, Lil Wayne has influenced Drake. And I think that because of Drake, a lot of what Wayne has done on the music scene kind of got washed away due to what Drake came in and did. Wayne was very experimental at the highest of levels. Maybe, yes, some of those things have aged poorly. I think a lot of Wayne's discography has aged poorly. I think a lot of his mixtapes have aged poorly. I think his rapping is actually still on point. Fly from the 504, Mr. Crazy Flow, jumping like a bun. I think those type of freestyles where he's on some other people's beats are really good. I think they age well because they're so good. And especially at that time, it was fresh. Nobody was rapping like that. To ask the question, did Wayne's influence negatively impact hip hop? I think there's a yes and there's a no. I think you can kind of say that about anybody's career, right? You could say that about Jay. You could say that about Kanye. I have an idea in my head that Kanye and Lil Wayne probably did ruin hip hop the most. If you really ask me, like, Wayne has been famous since he was a baby.
Y'all gotta remember, man, I started doing this shit at 8, man. So at 8, like, I'm not, at 8, I ain't trying to tell you what's right from wrong in my rap.
There's no reason he should have been being gangster, you know, joining the Bloods and doing what he was doing. The ladies would say, pause, let me just pause all this before I get it, that Wayne looked a lot better back in the day before he got all his face tats and then them drug and then them face tats, and he just kind of ruined himself. Everybody always just like, face tats. It's like, fuck, why would that be like why would that make sense, right? Because like everybody says face tats for like a 21 Savage.
He trying to be just like his daddy.
Or like these rappers that made it. But like, what about the rapper that's nowhere near making it and is never gonna make it, got face tattoos, and now has to work at like wherever he can get a job, if he can get a job, because the job market right now is super, super duper insane. I agree with Lil Russell a lot. Once you get old enough to realize how mature you got, a lot of your favorite artists don't sound the best. The number one artist I can feel that about is Lil Wayne, but I can also feel that way about maybe Kanye West. Like how I looked at him outside of the ring. I used to think he was some political activist that loved black people, and I was trying to fight the government and all these different things. And it's like, nah, he wasn't on that. He was just doing what he felt as though would get him talked about, right? Like, and maybe there is a Kanye's mom she was a professor. Maybe there is a part of Kanye that was like, you know, my mama was raised in the era when clean water was only served to the fair skin. Maybe there is a part of Kanye that's not all of Kanye. And that's what I would ignore everything to look at Kanye for just like those statements for new slaves. And I know the government, a minister, you know what I'm saying? And we just say that the minister say, you know, but they can't cop cars without seeing cop cars. I guess they want us all behind bars. That's not who Kanye, only who Kanye is. A lot of what Kanye is has been the last 13 years of his career, right? That's who Kanye is as well. And I've ignored all of that just to look at who he was. And as you mature, you start understanding that. Same thing with Lil Wayne. This conversation, to me, we have to talk about a lot of the negative that Lil Wayne has done. The face tats, lean, drugs, fake, I want to say fake gangster.
Come on, bro. Moneybagg Yo had a song. I forgot the album, but he had a song called Waukesha. Who was on the intro of Waukesha? Lil Wayne, talking about how he likes lean in his cup. And Waukesha went viral because Waukesha did what it needed to do. Moneybagg Yo was talking about the lean in his cup as if it was some sort of girl, if I'm correct, if I got the concept correct. But then watch this now. You gonna have Lil Wayne on the remix of Waukesha. Okay. But I'm supposed to remember the good that he spoke of. Okay. I'm supposed to remember all the good he spoke about, but here we go with this lean. Oh, that's cool. Cry babies. Twitter, cry babies.
But claiming a set, like a lot of these things was like not good, and it did negatively impact hip hop to where we're feeling it to this day. And so yes, he is one of the most influentials, but was that influence good? There is a space for people to also talk about how Wayne has influenced the rapping pattern, the rapping styles of a Kendrick Lamar, of a J. Cole, right? Of a Drake, of a whoever. But there's also a space to say that, yo, a lot of what Wayne was kicking wasn't really the healthiest. Yeah, we've all ate at McDonald's. Yeah, we've all ate at Chick-fil-A. It doesn't mean it's healthy for you. To be real with you, Wayne doesn't always look in the best of health. After the negative influence that he has had on other people, look at the negative influence he has had on himself. Lil Wayne went to prison. A lot of people say, yo, when Wayne went to prison, that's when he started to decline.
I ain't gonna lie. At one point, Lil Wayne looked like he could walk with the Walking Dead. Hey.
Think there's a uniqueness and there's a level of respect that I give Wayne, because as I got older, I started to see the rapping ability, right? Because when I was young, I didn't want to hear that shit. I just moved down south. You could already tell the bias. Niggas, oh, fuck Jay-Z. You know, we don't listen to G-Unit. Waka was starting to get popular. Waka, everybody's screaming, Waka, fuck everybody. Gucci was really popular at the time. So when I moved down here, it was like, I rocked with those guys, but I wasn't like, that's not, and no disrespect, but I'm like, that's not Nas, that's not Jay, that's not Big, that's not Pac. Like, that's okay. You get what I'm saying? That's on the same, and I used to say this is on the same level of like Lloyd Banks, Fabulous. Like, these niggas.
Nah, when you actually talk about the Wayne influence and who was birthed from the Wayne influence, i.e. Young Thug. But you want me to remember, oh, he really be talking that good positive-ish. Okay. Cry babies. Y'all cry babies.
Not there. So Wayne was one of those things that he was there. He was up there on that level. And so I was against it at first. And I admit that, because you come into a new environment. The South is very picky. To this day, you won't get the average Southerner to listen to anything outside of Southern music. Now, that may not be you, but the reason why you're watching this channel is because you like having music conversation. So that means you're not the average person. I'm talking about the average person that's not into like hip hop discourse and the hip hop community. I'm talking about just the average listener, work at the Amazon factory. They not jacking that. They might not even be jacking J. Cole, to be real with you. The more biased Southerner that actually, they gonna take Cole, go, oh, he from North, in Carolina too. You know, they, like I said in my last video, they gonna mention, if they got some wit to them, you having a lyric conversation, they gonna mention Saha, they gonna mention Andre, they gonna mention Cole. But most of the time, they not even jacking those guys. They jacking NBA Youngboy, Future, and anything that sounds closer to that sound. When I came down here,
Yo, Quickie, I swear to God, say some nonsense like that again, I'll put you on timeout for 5 minutes. Don't try to abbreviate Thug. Nigga. Is that what they said at his trial? Is that what they said at his trial? Man, don't remind me of that.
I noticed that. I was like, yo, I rock. Because they really thought, like, the Southerners really think that we didn't rock with that. Boy, I think they lied me. Boy, I think they lied. I listened to a lot of the South. We listened to Nelly. We listened to No Limit. Like, I know a lot of No Limit. I know a lot of Cash Money. But they weren't listening to our groups like that down here. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Especially if you move to a different location, different area. Lil Wayne was that one that could supersede all of that. And so I give him his credit. I give him his respect. He's unique, and his rapping ability is very well. His songwriting ability, not so much. I feel as though Wayne didn't make the best of songs, but he made the best of freestyles. And I feel as though a lot of what people was pushing was that South. Like, you gotta think about it. The South is way bigger than any other region. They don't even give us Virginia, Maryland. They start just like the white folk. They start at the Mason-Dixon line. Even though those cultures are very similar. This is why DC, Baltimore, they always arguing about Air Force Ones and phone posits and that whole little thing. The DMV always
I ain't gonna lie, I never liked phone posits. I'm gonna keep it so tall with y'all. The foam posit shoes, I thought those were the ugliest shoes I ever seen in my life. And I seen there's a lot of people that love foam posits. I can't see it. I cannot see it for the life of me.
arguing about Air Force Ones and phone posits and that whole little thing. The DMV always arguing because it's the same culture, but they're not giving us that. So if you look at the vastness of the South and just how the East Coast just turned into New York and maybe Philly, nobody really be talking about Boston like that. And what else we got? Rhode Island. You get what I'm saying? We don't really got that many people. And even in New York, they beefing with New York. And New York City didn't really claim Buffalo and them Griselda boys like that. It wasn't until recently they're like, shit, that's all we got. Hey, come down here. So if you really look at it, the South is huge. So I feel as though Wayne came in at a time where the South was like, we saying more than y'all. How about that? We don't got something to say. We saying it better than y'all. Outkast coming out with Speak About Love Below led to Ludacris winning, led to T.I. winning, led to Lil Wayne, right? It's like a Jeezy, Gucci, T.I., Lil Wayne was the one that was able to take all of that and move forward. Just like one could say Jay-Z was able to take all of that and push it forward. Able to take Nas, able to take all of that and be the number one. Wayne was that guy. He took up all of that and Wayne was able to push forward. And he is, pen-wise, one of the best spitters. Now, is he one of the greatest artists? No. But I'm not the one to say rapping is not artistry because it is an artistry. But when it comes to how he utilized his rapping, it wasn't the best. It was very surface level. Lil Russell is saying his experience. I got mature, I got older, and this is what it is. And of course, hip-hop Twitter got into a frenzy and went into a tizzy. For me personally, I understand why one would say Lil Wayne doesn't have substance. Because majority of it, 90% of it isn't substance. That's not what we go to him for. And then, you know, I made a statement that went pretty viral. And it's like, yo, let's not act like Lil Wayne is Mos Def. And people like, if you want substance, you don't go to Wayne, you go to Mos Def. And then you got people like, oh, we don't want rappers to say nothing. We just want to hear music. It's like we don't want to lecture or a lesson. It's just like,
but when one man of popularity can let the world know the problem, he might lose a few dollars himself telling the truth, might lose his life, but he's helping millions. But if I kept my mouth shut just because I can make millions, and then this ain't doing nothing. So I just love the freedom and the flesh and blood of my people more so than I do the money.
This brings up a lot of conversation. I think hip hop is still in shambles after the impact of the battle, the beef. I think hip hop is in a recovery mode. It's still trying to figure itself out. And I feel as though we're going to get a lot of debates. And again, I feel sorry for Lil Russell because he's released so much music. But now that he's signed to Roc Nation, everybody's going to be looking at his interviews more than they're going to be looking at his music, because that's really where everything's at. Podcasting, hot takes, you know, like you can't have an opinion. There's no in between. It's either glazing or hating, and there's no nuance and there's no in between. What Lil Russell said was amazing because not only did he give respect,
the people refuse to evolve, which is why the conversations are limited. That's exactly why. That's also exactly why I hate Twitter. Twitter is filled with a bunch of people that don't even know how to argue correctly. Y'all trash at arguing. Just imagine that. Y'all shouting and fighting, but you can't even argue right. And then I'm supposed to be on one of y'all's side. Man, forget both y'all. I hate Twitter so much. It's not even funny, bro. Like, I hate it with a passion.
He literally named songs that he liked where Wayne was talking about something. I think that everybody's so hyper-focused on agendas. Oh, this agenda, that agenda. He signed to Roc Nation now, so you know he going to be kicking in the back of who. Right now, people think like everybody's opinion is fact. Like, yo, that's why I used to say a lot, yo, I'm not here to be right. I'm just here to be me. This is how I feel. This is how I think. Somebody commented it on my last video about New York, and he was like, yo, you giving Ja Rule too much credit for things that he didn't do. Things that was happening in the street that he just so happened to be the head, like he just so happened to be the beneficiary of. And it's like, yo, you right. My bad. That wasn't him that did it. A lot of times I be wrong. I'm here to just say my thoughts rawly. That's why my podcast, I'm building it up this year, is If You Ask Me. I am. Because if you ask me, this is my opinion. If you not ask,
bro, everybody doing a podcast again? Listen, I tried the podcast. This channel was originally a podcast. All right, the Match My Energy podcast. Originally, bro, go back to the first couple videos when I was on. The Match My Energy podcast was a time. We talked about all kinds of garbage. Episode 10 of the Match My Energy podcast.
Me, you don't care. If you click on my videos, you subscribe to me, you want to know what I have to say, whether that's wrong or right. And I love the people that's like, yo, I don't agree with you, but I understand. And that's kind of where I'm at with Lil Russell. I agree with him, but I understand the people that's like, nah, nigga, you tripping. Because there is an importance of Wayne. But when we talk about his influence, maybe it did negatively impact hip hop. Did Lil Wayne ruin hip hop? Maybe. Because how many people are trying to rap like Wayne? It's easy to sit down and get a face tat. It's easy to be hooked on drugs. It really is. Like, I know people are like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. It's very easy. Trust me. I don't smoke no more. And every day I just smell somebody at the gas station. I was like, that's that gas. That's that gasolina. Boy, I was like, ooh, let me I had cash too. Like, let me get a dub. How much you got for an eighth? I know you ain't got a scale in there. You don't look like you sell. You look like you're the plug, though. It's easy to get the face tat. It's easy to be on drugs. But how many people are rapping at the high Wayne, the Lil Wayne level? It got even easy to get the fetties. People was even faking the lock, right? People just started getting the fetties, getting extensions. Everything that people run to for
I gotta say this, bro. Them dudes out there, y'all, these dudes will go from a buzz cut to grow out their hair just a little bit, and then all it takes is one weekend, and that dude come back, and his dreads are just down to his chest. Like, bro, did you know I can see the extensions, bro? You went from a little fro to all of a sudden you got long locks. And they clean. Nigga, you a liar.
Influence. Even Wayne said it on the God did. Face tats. I'm the ace packs. That's easy to replicate. It's easy for people to get tattoos. It's easy to put on a bandana and claim a set. But when we talk about the real influence of Wayne, the rapping at a higher level than most people, not many people are on that level. None are. Quickest one we can go to is a Kendrick Lamar, who talked about the influence of Wayne. And as he matured, he got better and found his own way as an artist, as you should. If you listen to the Carter 6, it's still things on there you like, oh, you a little old for this. You know what I'm saying? Where the skateboarding track at? Like, I want you to completely talk about skateboarding. Matter of fact, I would appreciate it more if Wayne turned it to because you know this soft rock, punk rock stuff is back. You know this rock, oh, they wanna kill my dad. You know that's back. I think a black indie band just went #1 on one of the charts or something for rock. I would respect if he went that way and got on his rock style. Like,
I do know about that rock band from Atlanta with the 4 black kids. Hey, them dudes sound like what's that one band? Sum 41 or like Green Day or one of them joints. Look like what's that other band? Billy Talent. Them boys sound just like them 4 black boys from Atlanta, and they got a little rock band. That's what's up.
Bring that back. Lil Wayne is Lil Wayne. Nobody can take away the fact that he's a legend, but was his legend positive? So here's my final thoughts and my final breakdown on Lil Russell and what he said, right? For one, he's not taking this right. He's taking all of the backlash completely wrong, and he's trying to defeat the internet. If I got one word of advice for him, stop that. When you get what you asked for, because this is what Lil Russell been asking for. When he signed that paper with Roc Nation, this is what came with it. Welcome to the big leagues, Lil Russell. This ain't what it was a month ago, 2 months ago. This is something completely new. You've been dropping music for a long time, and a lot of people don't know any of your music. They know that you signed to Roc Nation. So your fans and your core fan base, even though they may know you and know who you are, the people that's going to critique you right now, they care nothing about your music, right? They don't care nothing about what you saying on the music. All they care about is they got a new person to attack and link to Roc Nation and try to bring down and connect their agendas to. So no, I don't think there's this big agenda and people pay. Nah, I think that you talked about Lil Wayne, one of the most complicated, most beloved people in hip hop, right? And you're going to get some backlash, right? I'm in the middle of it all. And so I think Lil Russell got to understand that this ain't.
Hey, shout out Mookie Moods, a House of Laughter Entertainment in the house, my boy. How you feeling, bro? Hey, YouTube's been a little wonky today. I ain't going to hold you, bro. So the chat, we all locked in right now. We all learning. We all educating ourselves. So we're having an outstanding conversation. But everybody just sit back like, damn, he might be right. Like, but shout out to Mookie Moods, House of Laughter in the house. That's what's up.
The amateurs anymore. This is the big leagues, right? There's already people saying that he makes kid-bop music, and I like his music because with all the negativity and all of the samey within hip-hop, he provides something different. He provides something fun. I call him the Make-A-Wish Foundation kid of rap because every time you see him, he's meeting these celebrities, he's meeting his idols, he's meeting people that he looked up to, he's meeting these people that influenced him, and he's just happy to be there, and he's just always staying positive, dancing, right? His Tiny Desk is one of my favorite Tiny Desks because he brought that energy that you.
Hey, salute, gang. That's love, man. I appreciate you. But going back to like the whole LaRussell situation, like I said, man, you didn't need to apologize. You like what Read My Soul said. You in the big leagues now, bro. It's fun and games are over. You gotta lock in now. Like you had your fun with your independent run, but now that you locked in under Jay-Z, a lot of people are going to be questioning you. Right now is not the time for doing this or that. Your time right now, statement. You put yourself in a situation where you need to start making statements, but don't go back on your word, because that's when everybody's going to start questioning you, and that's literally what's happening right now. It's okay. LaRussell is new to this. But as long as he continues to make the statements, I'm not talking about making statements that's going to divide. The statements I'm talking about is the same statements that he makes in his music. Continue with the positive statements. It's rare that we have positive music that works. And LaRussell is literally that guy for it. He rep the Bay heavy. He rep positivity heavy. Continue to make those statements, because that's what's going to shut these people up, bro. Y'all already know. I hate Twitter. The last thing you need is to have the Twitter audience against you like that. It's better to have the Twitter audience just off your name than to be on your name, because there's nothing positive coming from your name being on Twitter. It's going to be negative. Twitter is a negative space. So you gotta make sure you ration what you feed them. And then you're going to be all right, man.
Seeing those viral videos to the Tiny Desk, right? And he did his song GT Coupe, which I love. You know what I'm saying? I used to ride around in the GT Coupe back then. I was hurting, right? I love that song, right? LaRussell got to understand that this is what happens when you get what you want. This is what happens when you get what you ask for. And to link it to myself, I have to realize that I'm going through the same issues and I'm going through the same complications, because people been looking at me differently, because all of a sudden, now that I'm not talking about Drake and I'm talking about their favorite J. Cole, they looking at me funny. But they wasn't there when I was talking about KOD. They wasn't there when I was supporting KOD and supporting For Your Eyes Only. Even
I love that you're saying that, because that goes into the recency bias that a lot of people have when they're viewing artists. They're only going to remember what's put in front of them in like the past month or so. As soon as you start going back a couple years, it gets shaky. Their memory's trash now. Right? Because we have these phones, we don't remember well no more. Right? It takes brain power to remember. And unfortunately, for a lot of people today, we just don't got it, bro. I ain't gonna hold it. We just don't got it, dude. Like, but that's what it is now. That's the climate. That's the environment. That's the landscape. We got to navigate this with this in mind. So what does that mean? Sometimes you might have to start taking notes. Might have to start writing things down and remember. Start taking little notes on your phone so you can remember things, so that when you have these conversations, you be like, whoa, hold on. Wait. Let's backtrack a little bit, because don't you remember this? Then we can start to have better conversations, more outstanding conversations, and we can really get to the nitty gritty of the things that we should be talking about. I'm just saying.
support in the off season when people were saying, this ain't really all of that. I was the one that was fighting for him. I didn't have a platform at that time. So now people looking at me funny because they think I'm hating when I'm offering honest critique, right? A lot of people have these same critiques that I have said. And unlike them, I'm going to highlight them a little more, because you're not going to come out and diss Kendrick Lamar and delete the song and say, well, your first one was massive. Your second one, they gassed it. Your last one was tragic. You're not going to say these things about Kendrick, delete them. And then you don't come out with a classic to me as the fall off. It's honestly aging off of me, to be honest with you. Some of the songs I'm skipping mad songs, right? And that's my critique. People are like, oh, you hating. I'm not hating. I'm just offering a critique to an artist that I love before a lot of y'all did. I'm keeping it real with you. Y'all wasn't there. Y'all wasn't there come up. Y'all wasn't there back in the days, right? When I was making people listen to Cole in my car. And I have to understand that people are going to see me now in a different light because I have this massive platform. But this is how it was at the barbershop. We'll offer our critiques and we'll move on. It wasn't personal. It wasn't hating. It was just, this is how I feel. This is how I feel. Somebody may feel different. They'll offer their critiques and we'll, okay, okay, I agree with that. Okay, maybe I'm tripping, maybe you tripping. We'll come to a compromise and we'll move forward. People looking at me crazy because of my takes. I have to be able to stand on that because this is what I wanted. And so Lil Russell has to understand that. This is what you wanted. You got what you wanted. You signed the Rock Nation. When you get that machine behind you, the positives and the negatives are going to come with that. The moment that Company Man started to react to my videos on Joey Badass, the positive and the negative came with that. The moment I came on the Culture United the first time, the positives and the negatives came with that. When the beef happened of Joe.
Hey, bro, that's one of my goals right there, man. One way or another, the Flex My Network is going to be on Culture United. One way or another. I know there is a lot of people that are waiting for that day. There are thousands. Like, I can happily say there are thousands of people out there that are waiting for that day when I'm on Culture United. And I'm going to call it. We're going to need to have a Canadian Culture United. Of course, Justin Hunt, you're going to lead it. But we're going to need that Canadian Culture United, bro. Now, I don't know exactly which platforms are going to be on that. But best believe Flexing My Network going to be on that, bro. That's going to be major. The day the Flexing My Network's on Culture United, that's going to be major.
In the West Coast, we saw the positive and the negatives that came out of it. I definitely saw a lot of positive. I definitely saw a lot of negative, right? So we got to be able to be comfortable with our takes and we got to stand on it. And we can't cower and wither away and try to change everybody's opinion. I myself am just now learning that. So I understand what Lil Russell's going through. I just want to tell him, like, bro, this is the big leagues now. Same thing with me. I got 60,000+ subscribers. I'm not little dude in my room no more with just 2,000 subscribers, 100,000, with 100 subscribers, or just a few Instagram followers, or just a few Twitter followers. I'm now the Read My Soul that has this platform. And anything I say or do is going to look crazy. So I have to be comfortable with the people that's going to understand and be comfortable with the people that's not going to understand. So Lil Russell, Lil Wayne is loved. Lil Wayne got some haters. So you got to take that with that. And you can't just be like, oh, substance, this, that, and the third. Now, we all human. Lil Russell is human. He's still learning. And the big part of his journey is being honest and open and letting you in and being raw and being real in real time. This is what comes with it, Lil Russell. Y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comment section. Comment, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Hype this video up so it can get into the algorithms. I believe that is the best way. If you got any more hype points, see, they doing us dirty. You can use some hype points. You can't hype my video up every day. You know what I'm saying? But if you have any more hype points, definitely hype this video up in the algorithms and join the conversation in the comment section. Donate to this Cash App, join to be a member. Link is in the description for all of that. I appreciate y'all. Peace.
Yeah. Dub. Lovely video. Bro, I literally just sat here and I just listened to a dude that has a large channel align with a lot of the things that I said in the last reaction I did. I mean, we for all the people that's been watching, that's been tapped in, y'all know this is a pattern, right? With the amount of times I be saying something, and then I will pause the video, I will say something that's facts. We play the video, saying the same thing I'm saying, and that's a first time reaction. So there's a pattern with what's going on around here. I'm just saying. I can be part of the conversation too. I'm just saying, bro. So one of these days. There's not much more that I can say. Because everything that we talked about pretty much laid out in this video. So it's almost like we're just listening to the opinion more so than me giving my own opinion. So it's just like a raw reaction kind of situation that we had with this video. So it's cool. I respect Read My Soul for sure. Shout out to him, no doubt. Right? So, shoot. But at this point, I think we done here, man. I ain't got nothing else. I ain't got no more videos. I think we good.